Welcome to At the Bell with Derek Poppy Roland. Today's guest is a very, very special guest of mine. Very excited about him coming on the show. He needs no introduction. Can I get a round of applause for Roy Jones Jr.? Boy, I'm really glad you decided to come on and sit down with us and talk about boxing and all your achievements and all of that. But before we get into your successes and everything that you've accomplished through boxing, I want to know about where it started from.
Well, it started as a 10-year-old, and it started really younger than that. First time I saw Muhammad Ali fight Joe Frazier, I was pretty intrigued. And my father was so amazed with Muhammad Ali that it made me become amazed with him. And I was like, wow, what he's doing with his mind, I can do that. If somebody teach me how to use my hands, I can do what he's doing with his mind. Because I had that mental already. So I started asking to box. And I didn't know my dad boxed at the time. So he would never let me box, but he would get down in the house on his knees and box with me for a little while, from when I was about 6 to when I was about 9. And every time he would always send me to bed crying, of course, because I didn't know about it. I always wanted to win. But every day I would come back, and it got so bad that my mom would beg me, please don't box your dad tonight. I'd be like, okay, I won't. And before I go to bed, it was just an urge that would not let me go to bed without taking that beating, so I had to have it. You understand?
So you actually fighting your father at 10 years old?
No. I was younger than that, from when I was about 6 to when I was about 10.
6, okay.
Yeah, he would get on his knees and box with me. We had a pair of gloves, but like I said, I didn't know that he boxed for real.
Okay.
So I always thought I had a chance, you feel me? And not knowing that he was a real boxer. My dad fought Marvin Hagler.
Okay.
I didn't know none of this. I didn't know that. I didn't find this out till I got 13.
Okay.
And I started boxing at 10.
Right.
So finally when I got 10 years old, I guess he realized that I was willing to take a licking and keep on taking.
Okay.
And one day just started training us.
And that was it.
That was it.
So the big accomplishments that you made, so your first one must have started in the Junior Olympics then. That's the,
yeah, some we just found out today. I didn't realize that you won the Junior Olympics in 1984 at Saginaw Valley, Michigan, the same time I did.
Yeah, I was 125. Right.
I was 119.
Right.
I had no clue. We were right by each other.
You know, when you in those tournaments and you focus and you just worried about the fight, you're not really worried about the other weight classes. I was one of them focused guys.
Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much in your weight class that you got to worry about that you don't have time to think about nobody else's weight class. The only reason I remember a few of the heavyweights was because they were heavyweights. You know what I mean? So I forget the kid's name he was down in Mississippi for a little while, but I remember him. He won it in the heavyweight division, or super heavyweight won. But that's really, and the Lavelle and Terrell Finger, I remember them.
I remember them.
Lavelle was in your weight that year.
I beat Lavelle.
Yeah, because he lost to Lugo the year before. Probably that one
That was in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Yeah, he lost him. See, all you guys knew about national tournaments. That was my first one.
Saginaw, Michigan, 84.
Yeah.
I went to the finals. I took the silver. I lost to Bandel Hinton in St. Paul, Minnesota in 83.
Right.
And then 84, I beat him in the semis, and I won the gold in 1984.
I did not know that. So did you beat Lavelle in the
I beat Lavelle. I don't know if it was that tournament or it could have been in one of the Lake Placid, but I did beat him in my career as an amateur.
Okay.
So you got a nice amateur career. You went through the JO system, and that's good. I asked people I interviewed that came straight out, like your boy Al Cole or your boy Ray Mercer. And them, they came straight from adults, 18, right out the army. So they didn't. So you and I are similar, having that Junior Olympic. It means a lot. It means a whole lot. So going up into the going into AAU, going into the boxing. And now you're 16 years old. What was some of your accomplishments as an amateur?
Well, when I turned 16, I went through a lot of growth spurts for one.
Okay.
I went from at 15, I was 119.
Okay.
That's when I won in Saginaw when we won together. Then the next year I had a back injury, so I was 125, 132. But my back wouldn't let me do much. So my dad didn't take me to the tournaments at all.
Okay.
I had a few fights here and there sporadically, but I didn't go to many tournaments. When I got 17, I was 139. And that's when I got to the National Golden Gloves, and it was Iowa,
Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Oh, yeah. So, that was 39. I thought it was 47. But you know, okay.
And it was tough because to get there, I had to beat a kid in Knoxville that had been winning the Southern Golden Gloves since I was 13 years old.
Okay.
And it was Sammy Jenkins. When I got there, he was still there.
Okay.
And if you didn't knock him out, you lost.
Oh.
So first round I come out and we boxing. My first time getting a bloody nose, he blooded my nose. Second round we came out, we still going. At the end of the round, I hit him with a 4-punch combination and give him an 8 count. That gives me hope.
Right,
I know if I don't knock him out, I can't win. Third round I came back out, put it all on the line, threw everything I shot, threw my whole gun, right? Shot my whole gun. Didn't catch him, so I was tired. Pushed me against the ropes, he thought he had me. Went for the left body shot, as he went for the left body shot, I threw it the best left hook I probably ever threw in my life. Boom! Collapsed him, knocked him cold.
And that's how you got to the
That's how I
nationals.
got to the nationals.
I was there with you that year to see the Rapids Iowa, man. It was a rough tournament that year,
Very
man.
tough tournament because they had the likes of Over Beard, the kid I beat, and Victor Levine. There's some really tough characters.
Yeah, it was a guy out of Chicago that, I forget his name, but it was a guy out of Chicago that I had fought in the quarters or the semis, man. That was a tough fight.
A lot of tough fights. So when I meet Derek Roland from New Jersey, I said, man, first of all, he's southpaw. Second of all, he fights like a machine. He just don't stop coming. So how am I going to beat him? So, man, I'm going to tell you right now, when I saw you coming up, I was like, I wasn't happy to be fighting a guy like you. I was happy, but I knew it was going to be a tough fight.
Yeah.
And the good thing about that year was everybody you fought could have beat you.
Yeah.
So
Everybody was good.
But I fought could have beat me if I would.
That was a big weight class.
If I slipped at all, anybody could beat me, and you and Victor Levine were the two main ones that I really had to worry about. Because Victor had such a big name already.
Yeah.
And I had seen him myself on TV, on USA Amateur Fights, fighting for the United States team, on shows against other countries already. So I already had seen him. I knew he was.
He was a good fighter. He was a good fighter.
Yeah, but when I saw you, I was like, oh my gosh, he's just as good to me, and he's left-handed. This is gonna be a problem. So we had to go on. Luckily I pulled it out, but you was no slouch by no means.
It was. I appreciate that, man. I was good. I appreciate that.
And I really had mad respect for you before and after because you kept coming the whole time. I was a difficult guy to deal with too, and I was a hell of a puncher. I didn't look like it, but I really was a hell of a puncher. And for you to just keep coming at me, said a lot about you.
I appreciate that. It means a lot.
Yeah, come on, brother.
You know, I watched your career, man, come up out of that, and it must have been a big, amazing thing for you. You had went up in weight class that year, and then shortly I turned pro. But I watched you throughout the Olympics, man. That must have been real good to represent your country in the United States Olympics, man. How was that, man? What was that about? How did it make you feel to come up from a little kid, man, and now you're representing the United States in the Olympics, man?
It's funny because the first time at the Nationals, I'm 119. Next time at the Nationals, we fight, I'm 139. The following year I'm at the Nationals, I'm 156. So people didn't understand I jumped weight classes so much because after 119, it was always a struggle for me to make weight. You know what I'm saying? So when I was fighting 39, I probably should have been 47.
Okay.
So by the time I got to where I thought I should go to 47, I'm like, why stop at 47? I already weighing 156 most of the time. I'm heavier than 56, making 47. So why not go on up to, I'm making 39.
It sounds like you just like to eat, man. It sounds
I
like you just like to eat.
I just was growing.
Yeah, just growing.
I was
Okay.
just growing. So I went up to 56, and it was amazing because I won the National Golden Gloves again the next year, which was 87. But in 88, I had a close decision loss to Jerry McClellan.
Jerry McClellan,
But to me, it was a political loss because I thought I did enough to win the fight. And I know close fights like that are going to happen, especially when you got two good guys. And in the amateurs, you only got 3 rounds. But I felt like it was a little bit political because I felt like they knew that Gerald couldn't beat Ray McElroy.
Okay.
Ray McElroy being from California, which is where the Olympic trials were going to be at.
Okay.
If he wins this tournament, that's not a Californian in the Olympic trials in California.
Okay.
Which means more people may come to see. Right?
Okay, it could have been a political.
I thought it could have been, and they knew I beat Ray McElroy the year before.
Okay.
In Knoxville, Tennessee. So I feel like it was a political decision, but nevertheless, it was a really good fight. I can't lie.
I kind of really, I was roommates in Colorado Springs with Gerald McCullough.
Right.
He's a nice guy, cool guy. I really liked him, and he was an outstanding fighter.
Hell of a puncher.
Hell of a fighter. He wasn't nobody to be messing with. I like that. That could have been a final. You and him could have been something real big, you know. And shame what happened to him as a pro, though, but he was a good champion.
But back to where I was. So anyway, they give it to him, and by the grace of God, I still make it to the Olympic trials because you know they had back then we had 7 ways to get in, and one at-large guy who was having a bad
Okay,
year.
yeah.
And the at-large guy is the last ranked guy, which was me. So I got there ranked number 8, and it's crazy because people don't know these stories that God has been for me for so long, Derek, that when I got there, I really wasn't supposed to be there. Just by the grace of God, I met some people, and the people realized that I had just had a bad year in '88, so they picked me as the at-large guy, number 1. Number 2, when I get there, I got a bum right hand. My right hand is shot, right? So you know Frank Lyles and you know Tim Miller. They fought about probably 6 to 9 times on the national scene. Frank winning just about every one of them, right?
Frank Lyles was
So
a good dude, too.
I'm knowing that if I gotta use my bum hand to beat both of them, I probably can't beat both of them back-to-back nights, or one night rest and one night again.
Right.
But if you separate them in the bracket, well, you ain't gotta fight with one of them. I can beat them. Or put them in the same bracket. When I gotta fight one of them, I can beat either one of them. So I asked God for one more thing. I said, thank you for getting me here, but I need one more thing. And you know this don't happen. Everybody that understands bracketology knows that this doesn't happen. I said, you please could put Frank and Tim in the same bracket, so I ain't gonna use my hand on but one of them. I can take advantage with my left hand.
Wow.
That's how cold I was and how much I believed in myself. You feel me?
That's that champion mentality I always talk about.
When I went to that
You
bracket,
gotta believe that.
When I went to that bracket, I saw that number 1 and number 2 was in the same bracket, which was Tim and Frank. I said, it's over with. I ain't gotta fight one of them.
I didn't wait for y'all, man. The guy came along, offered me some money and a nice car, and I turned pro because I felt they wasn't going. I should have waited for the '88 Olympics. I was on that team with y'all, but I really thought they had chose Kenneth Gould already. You know, we fought 4 times. I believe I won 2 of the 4, but they gave it to him. I was like, you know what? Let me just turn pro and go ahead and by the time y'all came out Olympics, I was already undefeated doing some things, so that was good.
So then I went to the Olympics. Got robbed, the worst decision.
Yeah, everybody talked about that. But you took a silver, you did, you know, everybody knew you was a bad decision.
I should have took a gold because I beat the hell out of the
I agree with you. Everybody do. We talked about that for over a while.
But to me, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life. One of the better experiences of my life, too. And I just thank God for that, too, because God knew how to turn me on as a professional. He knew what getting that silver medal would do to me better than I did. I just couldn't understand the blessing at first when it happened. But later I grew to understand the blessing within about a week after it happened.
Oh, to understand adversity, that's good.
Well, that's
so that's the next point. I'm glad you brought that up because what I wanted to talk about next was your transition from the amateurs, excuse me, into the pros.
I was listening to Paulie. I commented with Paulie and 12 on this thing called Pro Box now, right? And I was listening to them talk about the jump from the 4-round pro fights to the 6-round pro fights, right? I never went through all that. My first pro fight, I went 8 rounds.
Wow, I never knew that.
Well, it was scheduled for 8 rounds. It didn't go 8 rounds, but I was scheduled for 8 rounds. My second one was scheduled for 8 rounds too, and I ended up
So you skipped to the commissioners? What, that was the commissioner in Florida?
Yeah. They know I ain't need no. I fought over 100 3-rounders. What I need a 4-rounder for?
Right.
4-rounder, 1 round, add on a 3-rounder. Who needs that?
I didn't even think about that.
Most of us really high level amateur guys,
right?
We used to spar 6 and 8 rounds anyway.
All the time.
So what we going 3 rounds, 4 rounds, and 1 round added to a 3-rounder.
Yeah.
If we can't do that, we not a top notch guy.
I didn't even understand it like that, but that makes a lot of sense.
I'm not wasting time going.
I think I did 2 4s, 2 6s, 8 and then the 10. I think.
If you don't have amateur experience, then I would agree with that.
Yeah.
If you got 100 amateur fights at 3 rounds, why can't you go 4 or 5 rounds?
Yeah, you're right.
You should
especially when you're in the nationals fighting every day.
You'll sleep.
Yeah. So we do that sometimes too.
That's
You
why
got to fight and go to
That's
sleep.
why I knew I could go 8 rounds.
Yeah.
So I started out going 8 rounds. My first pro fight was scheduled 8 rounds.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't go. I started 4.
So your transition with turning pro, choosing a manager, your
dad
dad was still training you, right, at this time?
My dad was still training me. My dad was my manager.
Okay.
So, only thing different that happened there that nobody knew about was that in the Olympics, with the trainers, Coach Alton Merson, Kenny Adams, and Coach Johnson. I don't know Johnson first name. I forget the first name.
I know him, dog.
Hank Johnson.
I think he's from D.C.,
Hank
right?
Johnson.
Hank Johnson.
So, with the 3 of them, Coach Adams reminded me kind of my dad because he was on you pretty hard, right? Coach Johnson was cool, was really cool. He didn't do change much. He's really cool. I like his brother Marvin Johnson too. But Coach Murkson was the coolest for me because he didn't really say much. He just made you work. You understand me? So I knew that this was a guy that was going to play a big role for me down the line. So at the Olympics, after I met him, I was like, Coach Murk, give me your number and you keep my number because one day I might need you. And he didn't understand what that meant, and nobody else did understood what it meant. But I already knew at that point that I could become world champion under my dad's tutelage.
Wow, how did that go about you and Dad? Was it like a fight or was it like?
No, it's just that for me, God had given me a lot of signs. One being I was 13, I realized that Howard Davis Jr. I started knowing Howard Davis Jr. about 13, as from a distance.
Yeah, he's from Jersey. He was out in Jersey.
I met him until I got about 27, but I knew him from a distance, right? His dad was over his career. He turned professional after the '84 Olympics, where he won the Val Barker Cup like I did. He was the most outstanding boxer of the '84 Olympics, not Sherry Leonard. I mean, at 76
of them, exactly. I was going to
my bad. 76 of them. He was the most outstanding boxer, not Sherry Leonard.
I know.
Well, I like both of them, but he was the better boxer on the team at the time. When he turned pro, his daddy kind of held him, and held him, and held him, and held him. And by the time they let him fight Jim White, which I might be about 13 when that happened, he lost.
Yeah, me and my partner, I got a friend named Rodney Price. He's my buddy, real close friend of mine. And sometimes he wants to we train the guys together, and he wanted to come, oh, I'm not ready, and protect him. Like you said, held him. But no, put him in, let him see what it's like. Let him do it. All we can do is get better. And I finally think I got him to understand it now.
It's just different things for different people, though. Some people mature quicker, some people mature later. But the one thing you got to realize about a fighter is when he got that fire, you can't let that fire fizzle out.
That's right.
You and me not in no more. He got to have the fire.
That's right.
When our turn was there, we had to have the fire. Now he got it. So when a fighter has that fire, you want to nurture it and kind of guide it. You want to put it too fast,
right?
But you don't want to let that fire fizzle out.
Exactly.
If that fire fizzles out, they will have Howard Davis Jr.'s dad. Let Howard Davis' fire fizzle out. And by the time he got there to fight Jim White, the fire was gone. He didn't want to be no more. He had been pro so long. Like, I'm just a pro boxer.
Fire was gone. That's a good
I'm
way
just
to
a
look
pro
at
boxer
it.
now. So it's like I knew God showed me that for a reason. So when I got about 16, 17 old, me and my dad finally had come to heads over a few other things outside of boxing. And I called Coach Murk. I said, hey, you remember I told you I was going to need you one day? He said, yeah. I said, well, that day is here. He said, okay, what you need me to do? I said, I need you to come out here Thursday. I'm fighting Saturday. He said, you don't need sparring, you need anything. I said, I mean, don't worry about none of that. You just show up.
Was it a pro fight?
Yeah, I was fighting Glenn and Heath Thomas. Undefeated guy, too.
Okay.
Yeah. And he came down, and I was on USA.
How did your dad handle it? How did dad take that?
My dad didn't like it, of course, but like I said, we had some pretty intense moments. And it was getting to that time, because I always asked God, once again, I always ask God everything, right? And still do, by the way. But I asked God, please don't let me stay too long, but please don't let me leave too early.
Wow.
So God showed me the 3 strikes that meant, okay, that was strike 1, that was strike 2, here goes strike 3.
Well, you had so many different accomplishments, man. I can't name them all. Not many people, I don't think anybody ever come from winning the middleweight title all the way to the heavyweight title.
One guy,
right?
Bob Fitzsimmons, he was the only one.
The only one?
Yep.
And you know who else was close? I don't know, not the heavyweight, but all the way from lightweight to the super middleweight. Roberto Duran.
He was close. He came from.
He got like 7 of them, I believe.
There's a lot of guys climbed a lot of weight classes. But what you got to remember is the higher the weight classes go, the higher the difference in weight goes.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I say always to people that if you talk about pound for pound, I cover more poundage than anybody ever had.
Yeah, you got from lightweight.
Like
from middleweight.
154 all the way to heavyweight.
All the way.
You feel me? Nobody's covered that much weight.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
Supposed
to give us all your accomplishments you made, man. All your accomplishments.
I really don't do all the accomplishments, Derek, because it's like I was middleweight champ. I was super middleweight champ. I was undisputed light heavyweight champ, and I became heavyweight champ. Won like cruiserweight title, but they don't really count. They don't really count those. So and because I thought Bob Fitzsimmons had won the middleweight, light heavyweight, light heavyweight. But I found out afterwards I was wrong. He won the middleweight, heavyweight. After he lost heavyweight title, then he came back and won the lightweight title.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought he won them all the way up and came back and recaptured. So I went all the way up and came back and recaptured.
Well, you gave a lot of people, man, the whole country, man, the whole world, man, I might say, a lot of people enjoyed watching you fight. And I enjoyed it, man. Your style was different, a little awkward, but very, very exciting to watch. You was like one of the best ever, pound for pound. We always talk about it. And, you know, sometimes when I'm like, I fought Roy Jones, you know, I thought I beat him, man, but really to see what boxing done for you and see what you did for boxing kind of made me still cheer for you and be a fan of yours, you know, like, well, Roy is Roy, you know, and so he ain't, you know, and I could see that he was just a good dude, so, you know, he good. I cheer for him, you know, I want him to win. One of the things that I always ask when I get him on the show is like, the show really is called At the Bell. And at the bell, I'm not talking about when the bell rings, you go. My question is, when the bell rings and it's over, like you had all these accomplishments, you started as a little kid, 10 years old, your whole life is boxing, and now you reach a point where, what am I going to do now? It's not over, no, it's over now.
Well, for me, that never really happened that way because I was commentating before I retired.
Okay, same as Kevin Kelly, he got that
So
off
I
like
kind of had a
that
place
too.
to go before I got there. But what I didn't realize was, if you remember in my early days, I had a fighter by the name of Smoke Gainer.
Smoke Gainer.
Derek Smoke Gainer.
I know Derek Gainer though.
He became WBA featherweight champ.
Okay,
He fought Freddie Norwood for the title.
okay.
That was all my doing.
You were training him.
Training him and pretty much calling shots for his fights. That was all my doing. So I was training and promoting and commentating while dominating. You understand? So I'm already doing all this while I'm dominating the pro division myself.
Okay.
So when I got to the end of the boxing part,
You were
I
still
knew
affiliated.
it wasn't over because I'm already into all this other stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been training people already. I've been doing promoting already. You understand me? I've been doing commentary already. So it's just a matter of me having time to do more of those things than actually fighting now. So it was kind of a smooth transition for me. The boxing part was hard because still to this day, with these guys doing these exhibitions and stuff and making so much money, it's like you got an opportunity to make millions of dollars. Why would you turn it down?
You kind of answered my next question before I answered it. But what I wanted to say, like when you're not fighting and everything, you know, and you had to make these other avenues of things. So now you're not fighting, you're not training, or you're doing a whole lot of other stuff. What would be the need for you? Because you're still making money, so it couldn't have been the money thing. So I wanted to ask you, face to face in front of the whole wide world, what in the world made you go in the ring with Mike Tyson?
Me being Roy Jones Jr., being a daredevil all my life.
A daredevil?
A daredevil my whole life.
You know Mike Tyson is Mike Tyson, you know?
Daredevil my whole life. Give me what they say I can't do, and that's what I'm going to go try.
Yeah, I feel the
That's just
attitude.
who
I really
I've
do.
been my whole life. Whatever y'all tell me I can't do, guess what?
I'm going to try to
That's what I
do it.
think I'll go try to do next.
Yeah, yeah.
You understand me? That's how God bless me.
That
and
was
that's
it,
why I
man.
feel
That was
so
it.
like-
Man, I really enjoyed you, man. I
Thank you,
really
brother.
appreciate you coming on the show, taking the time, allowing me to come up in here and talk to you. I
problem.
wanted to ask you, though, because there's a lot of fighters that's, young fighters that's coming out of the amateurs, going professional, and what are some of the things you would like to give to them if they were watching you, young 18-year-olds or guys that's getting ready to turn pro or looking to turn pro? What should they do? What should some of the things you want to give them?
One thing you do is, people say that some people are crazy, and everybody has their different ways of doing things, and the same road is not for everybody. I started out early promoting myself, managing, well not promoting, but managing myself kinda, and then later promote myself. And the reason I did that is because I didn't want to be the guy who ducked and dodged fighters or didn't provide the people with the best fight ever. So as a kid, one of my favorite fights that never happened because the kid died before it happened was Salvador Sanchez versus Eusebio Pedrosa.
Oh, yeah.
Salvador Sanchez died in a car crash, then
Motorcycle.
Pedrosa got beat by, it wasn't motorcycle, it was a car crash.
Okay.
Then Pedrosa got beat by the kid from Ireland, I think. I can't think of his name, but I know him because I always talk to him every time I see him. So that fight never happened. And I said that if I ever got in that position, I didn't want what happened to me as a kid to happen to another kid, and him not get to see his favorite fighter in the biggest fight that could possibly happen for his favorite fighter. That's why when I got close enough to fight James Hunter, I took it right away because he was 44-0, I was 27-0. What kid watching us come up would not want to see that clash?
Wow.
So it's all about creating an east and a west, or a north and a south. You feel me? That's why most major sports are broken up into divisions. You got the American League, National League in baseball.
Right.
You got the AFC, NFC in football. You feel me? You got the East and the West in basketball. Because the goal is to create two champions and make them collide at the end.
Wow, I like
That's
that.
what everybody wants to see.
I like that.
So when you get to this point, and this point, you have to do it, right? Well, excuse me, sorry, and I'm just saying this the way I see it. That's how I want to keep boxing going, because that's what I understood to be. Cameron Hearn, Sugar Ray Leonard. You understand me? They both rose, they collided. One of the greatest fights of all time. You understand me?
Right.
So it's like, some guys just come up and get to that spot. Some guys both of them do the same thing at the same time. In this case, they both kind of came together to that spot.
Yeah, and it seemed like, one of the things I was going to go into right after this question was, what about today's boxers, and what do you think about some of the guys?
That's where I'm going. So right now we have Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford.
And they're not trying to meet, though.
We can't get a crane to put them together.
Yeah, I wonder what
Yeah,
everybody talking about.
And we can't put them together on a winch.
Yeah.
And we don't understand why. You feel me? But
Yeah.
usually it's political too. But I didn't want to be that person. That's why I control my own fate.
Okay.
Because anybody that said they wanted to fight me, they got a chance to fight me.
Ain't that
You
so?
understand me? So it's like, David Tedesco asked me to fight, he got to fight. Anthony Guitarra asked me to fight, he got 3 fights. If you asked me to fight and I could, we're going to fight. That's just who I was. So I felt like you're supposed to play King of the Mountain.
That's right.
But
If
if
you're
you
the
think
champ, be the champ.
But if you think about it, what happened was, after me, we all wanted to Pacquiao Mayweather fight. And you can't blame Mayweather for what he did. He's a moneymaker.
Yeah,
Best moneymaker of all time.
Right.
So he chose to go to the moneymaker side rather than the King of the Hill side. And he
Okay.
made way more money than any of us ever gonna make in
Right,
boxing.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean? But it diminishes the sport in the sense that now everybody's after the money more so than they're after the King of the Hill, who's the best. You understand me? So now
Gotta find a middle
the
somewhere.
sport has
'Cause you
gotten
want-
watered down because they
Yeah.
start making money. And that's what they want to do. So now they think, oh, we gotta stay undefeated to make money. That means don't take no chances. He took chances. He did what he had to do to get to that point. They just didn't see him do those things, but he took chances to get to that point. Now, yeah, when he got to Pacquiao, he held up a little bit because he probably thought Pacquiao was juicing, and he probably didn't want to deal with that. I don't know, but it just, it
Well,
happened.
we give Pacquiao some more hard fights and let him get, a little down, then catch him going down. That's
That's
part
what
of
he
the
kind
game.
of, that's kind of what happened too. But
Yeah.
still, that's not how I do it because I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? I want you at your best. Because if I don't beat you at your best, then I haven't done anything.
I like
couldn't
that.
sleep like that. You feel me?
I like that.
But for him, he did it small for him because he was wanted to make the money. And look what kind of money he generated for.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
him. He was cut out to do that. I'm not cut out to do that.
So who do you think will win between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence?
Don't know. It's a tough fight to call. I like both of them. People think I don't like Terrence Crawford. It's not. I mean, they don't think I don't like Errol Spence. That's not true. I think Earl's a great fighter.
Yeah.
Earl was one of the guys I heard that gave Mayweather all he wanted a couple times sparring.
Okay.
I heard Mayweather got it back, but I heard he gave him all he wanted a couple times. So Earl is really a good fighter too. I just haven't seen Earl have to be as versatile as I've seen Crawford be.
Right,
So
right.
the reason I'm favoring Crawford a little bit because I've seen him be more versatile than I see Earl have to be.
Right.
But at the same time, you could also say that because of his versatility, he had to do that.
All right.
Earl may not have had to be versatile because he's still undefeated.
But they had to lay off too. They lay off some kind of way.
Lay
right?
off the car wreck, but
Yeah.
he's still undefeated. But he only fights his one style. His style is pressure.
Right.
So will Crawford be able to make him deviate from that pressure style, or will that pressure style be too much for Crawford? That's the real question.
Yeah.
That's why we all want to see the fight. So it's like, yeah, I've seen Crawford be more versatile, but that don't mean he's gonna beat him because he still got to make force Earl to get out of his one way of fighting that we've seen,
Right.
and make us see can Earl fight in another way.
So who would you think is the baddest of the day, though?
Today,
Right now.
of all of them,
Yeah.
hard to say. It'll be to me. It'll be between Terrence and Canelo.
Canelo.
Yeah, between Terrence.
Canelo
and
been
Canelo.
there a long time,
That's
man.
why,
He's still doing it.
Terrence have too, though. He just haven't fought the named opponents that Canelo fought.
Right,
Which
right.
why you kind of got to lean toward Canelo. But they both to me would be them two. I mean, it's some really good fighters out there. There's a lot of guys that really have one. Like it's a guy called Boots English that's on his way up right now. That's gonna be on that level, I think, pretty soon too. But from what I've seen the past probably 10 years, I would go with Crawford, Lomachenko, and Canelo.
Do you think Ugas got a shot?
I think Ugas got a shot, but I think Spence is very strong with the way he fights, and I don't know that Ugas can stand up to that pressure. Because I've seen Ugas to hurt, and I've seen Ugas down.
Yeah.
And Spence, if you can't take it, he gonna find out because he coming.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
man.
So we're gonna find out that too. But that's what I'm saying. It's such a good fight because Spence is really, like I said, he's a really good fighter at what he does, and he fights a smart way for a southpaw because he just keeps that pressure. You understand me? And he has the punch and the side to back it up. So any fight he has with anybody's gonna be interesting.
Right,
And
right.
I just
think
want to see
Ugas
what
can fight, man. I like Ugas a
He
little
can
bit.
fight, he can
I
fight.
think people may count him out a little early, but I mean, you know.
Now listen, I didn't count him out because he's a Cuban.
yeah,
You never count the Cubans out. You know that.
yeah.
Count him out. Now, I'm not saying
Count him
that.
out.
I'm just saying that I don't know that he can take the pressure
Yeah.
or the punch from Spence because Spence is not your average pressure guy. He's a top-notch, top-level pressure guy.
Yeah.
That's what he does best is pressure. So,
We're at the bell. Derek Poppy Roline and Mr. Roy Jones Jr., man. I want to thank you. It really means a lot to me.
Thank you, brother.
I'll always be there for you. I hope I can get a chance to talk to you and
Of
see you
course.
again.
Of course.
If we later on, I had a couple guys that former champions, talk to like Buddy McGirt and other guys
Right,
that
yeah.
I want to kind of trying to bring together, man.
we'll talk. I'll
Thank
make sure. I'll do what I can to make it happen.
This is At the Bell with Derek Poppy Roline. Like, share, and subscribe. At the Bell, Derek Poppy Roline, Roy Jones Jr.
What up? This your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're watching At the Bell. Ding, ding, ding.